Welcome to Going Digital with Zoom Catalog. Our goal with Going Digital is to highlight industry leaders and their digital transformations in the promotional product industry. We hope you find this information valuable and that it helps you grow your business. With that said, I'm excited to introduce Brittany Godsey. Brittany is the Chief Revenue Officer at Gold Bond, and we're going to be chatting with her today about their digital transformation. Hi, Brittany.
Hey there, how are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for hosting me. I'm excited. What an honor. Got to watch a couple of the last episodes. Such captivating content. Love what you guys are doing.
Awesome. Thank you. And we know you have a lot to share and a lot of value to add. So to get started, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Gold Bond and your role at the company?
Yeah, so thank you for the intro. So my name is Brittany Godsey. I'm currently the Chief Revenue Officer here at Gold Bond, which means I get a lot of cool teammates to work with on a daily basis. So right now my teams consist of the entire sales force, the sales support, customer service, order entry, marketing, and product development teams. So our goal and our mission is to build harmony within these front-facing elements so that we enhance the user experience beyond anything that they've yet to see. So we're really pumped. We got a lot of really fun things in the works, and I'm sure we'll touch on some of the good stuff today that we've already gotten started on.
Yeah, wow. Sounds like a big job. So as the topic is going digital, would you say Gold Bond is undergoing a digital transformation at this point in time?
Yes, 100%. That's the short answer. The
Yeah.
more elaborate answer is, we really started, I would say, tapping into this emerging skill in 2019 and really toying with some concepts and ideas of things that we could do to allow for self-service elements inside the organization. And when 2020 came about, it really kind of force fed us to expedite some of the ideas and the concepts that we had in the backlog of development and really bring them to the forefront of these are now the most important projects or topics that we have in our day to day because our clients were seeing a crazy transformation themselves in the way that they sought new business because they were prospecting more so now than ever before in ranges and ways that they've never done. And also they had to tap into new ways to enhance the current relationships that they had and figure out some new revenue streams associated. So to build complementing resources from that for them to use was 100% on the forefront of our minds and continues to be moving forward. So yes, the short answer is the digital transformation has begun. The long answer is there's a lot coming down the pipe still.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure it's had impact on both your internal team and your distributors, but providing distributors with those tools that they need to go digital, I think is the key to the success of this sort of transformation. So obviously there's a lot of components to going digital, but what are the biggest challenges you've faced along the way so far?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges that we saw was we were trying to rapidly deploy concepts that could be valuable tools for our clients. To do that, we had to manipulate some of the processes that we abided by internally. So, for instance, a lot of our clients were really seeking marketing collateral that they could use as a turnkey solution to build a dialogue with some new prospective clients or to provide insight on ways that they could actually still leverage promotional goods or hard goods in their existing environments. And so doing that meant that some of our internal resources were now the ones developing that content, right? We always had the case histories and the data and everything to support it. But the actual collateral itself was something that we had not been doing ourselves in the past that traditionally came from just the marketing department. And now you are seeing it deployed rapid fire on a daily basis all throughout the week. And because there was so much customization and variability to it. So it did create a natural strain on some of our support elements inside the building where they had to transition their daily tasks to work on some of that marketing material and collateral that distributors were using as digital resources. But it took away time that they were traditionally offering value add services where they were concierging projects or working through things inside the building to help create a frictionless experience. So we had to figure out the appropriate way to toggle those things. And Zoom Studio has actually been a true true partner for us in that regard. It's definitely been beneficial. But that would be the biggest challenge that we saw when we started exercising these new tools.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, and on that topic, one of the pieces is digital catalogs, and I think it's been a big year for catalogs in general. We've seen a lot of suppliers cut out print or cut back on print, and it's made it really important to focus on digital. Now, I know you guys have been doing digital catalogs for a long time, but how do you see your digital catalogs differing from print and your print strategy?
That's such a great question. I think there's a lot of timid or apprehensive feelings around going digital. And in all honesty, I thought that we would get a lot of different feedback than what we've actually received. A lot of people have really transformed their normal day to day routines, and they've established this new normal and found a lot of productivity and efficiency in these new concepts that they've been adopting. I do foresee that on the digital spectrum, we can continue to innovate and enrich with different media forms. So, for instance, we would print 100,000 catalogs at the beginning of the year and all these little miniatures all throughout the year, because as soon as we launched our full line catalog in the Vegas show or something like that, 3 months later it was obsolete because items changed, prices changed, colorways differed, and some of the ancillary costs associated had changed because we learned more since launching the product. So we learned we had to change stuff, right? Now, when we do the digital version, we can update on the fly. That's one of the most beautiful things about the Zoom Studio is our natural integration efforts. Anytime we change something in our system, you automatically see it reflected in the tool yourself. And so it mitigates that risk or exposure of you giving out inaccurate or poor data that can generate a friction-filled experience and create animosity, right? Because then you feel like you got to do something for the customer. I already told them this, I quoted them that, or it doesn't say that on your website. Giving us those digital mediums allows us flexibility to morph on the fly as things are changing, especially in the climate that we're in. But it also allows us to enhance the user experience and create more captivating content because we're really focusing now on solution selling and bringing in products that have cross-functional features and elements and case histories. And now we can include that with videography inside of these digital assets that we wouldn't be able to do in any flat form prints. So I feel like it's been so exciting for customers to be able to see an unboxing experience for themselves, listen to a case study unveil itself in real form. And that's just not something that we found that we could do in a traditional print fashion. And so we've gotten a lot of great feedback on the new ways that we do things. So we'll continue to do that for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, two really key factors, the product data changing, and then obviously the interactive element of digital, I think are the two key things for leveraging digital and really making it that powerful experience that it can. So great answer there. So your distributors are obviously using these tools, and your reps and your internal team are using them. What are some of the creative ways that distributors are using your content that you're creating?
Wow, what a loaded question. Distributors are so savvy and my gosh, they are so creative. One of the things that we saw as the most interesting new concept was this emergence of e-commerce, right? We had to kind of force breed these concepts of the ways that we transact and adopt consumer behaviors that we didn't have to abide by in the past. So you saw this explosion in things like LTO offerings or pop-up stores or sites, things like that, company sites, things that got their customers, something that they could get their hands on or touch and feel, view products and a category selection, if you will, since you couldn't do that in your normal channels with physical mediums. So I think that for us, we saw that customers were craving content that they could use in those formats. They were being very savvy about the way that they spent their time and the way that they went to market. And so they were thirsting for content that they could use in these new platforms where they didn't have to reinvent the wheel at all, right? They could take digital assets that we generated for them, knew that they were accurate, tweak or modify them just to encompass the branding highlights that they wanted, and then turnkey offer a solution to their customer real time in an hour, in a minute, in a day, however complicated or intricate you wanted it to be. You could scale appropriately without having to invest an extreme amount of capital to do so. And I think distributors got really savvy about that, and I got to give them kudos for it because they did a great job of leveraging their supplier resources from a digital perspective whenever they transitioned their business in that way.
Yeah, Zoom Custom we launched years ago, and it was this concept that suppliers invest in creating awesome marketing materials, and it allows distributors to repurpose them. And now with Zoom Studio, it goes a little bit further than that. They can use the different assets, your photography, your product images, and your product data to really create something that fits their specific needs. So it's been a fun evolution, and it sounds like your distributors are fully embracing that.
Yes, 100%, which we appreciate, right?
Yes, win-win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the future for print for you guys? What is your print strategy?
Ooh, what a good one. For us, when I think of Gold Bond and speaking on the organization's behalf, I really think of this answer as a two-pronged approach. So when it comes to print in general, the first thing was in 2019, we implemented this Project Impact initiative internally, which was really for us to inspire new ways to be a more responsible and socially compliant provider that we could align with distributors on, or that they could feel like that sentiment that they preach rings throughout their supply chain. And that came from environmental impact all the way through to sustainability efforts and things like that. So the first prong in the print, moving away from the print versions, was really the environmental impact that we had by transitioning that collateral to a digital asset. And for us, going back to printing 100,000 catalogs a year, that those are tons of paper when you think about the type of paper that we use, the inks that go into it, the labor that's involved in it. We got to, in essence, really steal back the time as well so that we could develop new products, new services, educate more people in different ways. So the sustainability effort is prong one. And the prong two is really the efficiency levels that it garners by going digital. So many of our clients are working abnormal hours. They're working before 8, after 5. They want self-service opportunities that they could take and use themselves without having to pick up the phone and explain themselves. And I understand right now is so crazy that you're trying to juggle so many balls in the air. Sometimes it's nice if you can just learn how to do it yourself, or do a couple of quick clicks and send something on your way. For us to be able to continue to innovate in the ways that we want, relying on our digital resources will be imperative for that innovative side. And that's just not something that we can do because it's obsolete in just a small amount of time. And distributors find that to be a friction-filled experience, right?
Yeah.
They want everything that is exposed to them to be accurate and to be right. And our team internally that was doing that, they're humans. They're not graphic artists. They make mistakes. We fat finger things. It's just natural. So mitigating the risk of us potentially giving something to a customer that could set a bad expectation from them to their client was important to us. And so we're really trying to adopt ways that we can make sure that we give the best data, the best service, and the best tools available. And digital to us is the way to do that on the second prong.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we back in the day when we launched Zoom Catalog, we'd go to some trade shows and we would see at the end of the show just piles of print catalogs being thrown into dumpsters at the end of the show. And it was one of the motivating factors on developing a system that we could distribute catalogs online. So it's amazing that you guys are recognizing that impact and doing your part in cutting back while providing tools that are possibly even more effective and, as you said, up to date and have accurate information. On that topic, you've mentioned Zoom Studio a few times. So tell us about why you guys are implementing Zoom Studio and some of the features and benefits you found.
Yeah, so that's a good question. There's so many great benefits that we've discovered, whether we intended for them to happen or not. The first one is just the ease of use. Internally and externally, it's so breezy to navigate and it's so intuitive. So it makes it really easy for people to adopt, which is one of the key things that you're looking for when you launch a new platform like this. The time savings internally is game changing for us because, like I mentioned before, we can dedicate more time to those value add flexibility, develop more resources, more tactical opportunities, or new strategic alliances that allow you guys to go out and generate more revenue. For us, solution selling was a big theme. We noticed, hey, if you haven't been around the industry for a while, a lot of us has very similar things and we source them in very similar ways, right? So we found that throughout 2020, we were noticing that distributors were craving solutions. They didn't know what to suggest for work from home options. They didn't know what to pitch for virtual events because normally they're in person. They didn't know how to articulate case histories to new vertical markets that they've never tapped into before. And we happen to have that knowledge because we just had experience in so many different ways. So allowing us to move to a digital resource allowed us to solution sell more than product pitch, where we could help concierge concepts and ideas, provide dialogue on, hey, here's key things that you need to understand about these markets and important dates that you can frame your dialogue around. Giving them those types of resources was more impactful than me saying, did you know that my favorite tumbler comes in mint? So I think that that was more of what they were craving and what we're still seeing a lot of requests for. So moving to Zoom Studio allowed us to do stuff like that with a unlimited scope of flexibility. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and timing wise is probably really good considering how volatile things have become after the whole year of COVID and with how pricing and everything is constantly changing. Being able to push your data in there constantly is another really great part of it. So sounds like a powerful tool for your team and for your distributors to be using on a day to day.
Yes, our internal team was like,
Yes.
I don't know who did it, but thank you to whoever did it.
That's awesome. Yes. We're excited to see what you guys do with it. It's we've seen a lot of creative usage of the tool, things we didn't even anticipate. And I'm sure you guys are going to find ways to leverage it that we haven't even thought about.
Yeah.
So switching gears from catalogs, we're talking about digital, so we might as well talk a little bit about social media. You guys obviously do a good job. You're one of the leading suppliers that I've seen on social, trying to make an effort there. So what is your social strategy and how has that been for your company?
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. I know that our social media team would be thrilled to hear you say that. We are on all of the major channels and we've dipped our toe into YouTube and TikTok to just
TikTok.
make sure that we touch on all the different elements that are out there for us to give you exposure, not just into the services and the products, but the people and how things come about. So YouTube was a great format for long time videos that we could really go into thorough explanation on. TikTok was more fun from a cultural perspective for you to see some of the personalities that make the magic happen behind the scenes. But for us, from a strategy perspective, going back to 2020, where transition was happening across the board with our client base, social media was a new opportunity for them to go out and research new accounts, promote their business, maybe find some new prospects or engage new types of clientele. So we were trying to, from a strategic standpoint, outfit Zoom Studio with things that we were getting positive feedback on already, but frame it to where they could take it and repurpose it. They didn't have to invest in social media content or hire somebody to go out and do photography for them. They could take the assets that are already known to be good quality and just modify them appropriately, drop their logo in, and advertise it themselves. So it was simple and it wasn't burdensome for them. So from a tactical perspective, it was so easy to just move our digital assets into Zoom Studio, format them appropriately for the distributor, and let them rock. They really took off with it, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think that's why one of the reasons why you have all done such a good job with social media. You're not just thinking about what content we can put out, but what content we can provide that distributors can leverage. Because I think one of the challenges distributors face is they're busy and it's a full-time job to manage your social media channels and create content. So now they can utilize the content that you are putting your time and effort into, and it becomes a win-win for both of you. So really awesome job with that. So it's clear that Gold Bond is going digital. What's next?
Woo! I knew you were going to ask this question because it's kind of like the what's new question in Vegas, right? Everybody always wants to know, really cool, glad you got all these cool things happening, but what's to come? Yes. And I want to tickle the ears by saying we have so many things in development. Careful to tip the hand because I feel like we're on the cusp of some really cool, innovative ideas. I think that you can anticipate through the balance of the year and even planning into 2022 and 2023, our goal is to generate new revenue streams for distributors to take advantage of. Opportunities for them to not only have a enhanced user experience, but to go out and win more because we're helping you guys catch more opportunities, more leads, things like that. So I don't want to give the farm away on what's to come, but I do want to tickle your ears by saying that there are some really interesting things that I don't think you would ever expect to see from Gold Bond, much less something from our industry.
Yeah.
You would expect them more from retail or different types of bigger box environments. So I'm excited about that, and you'll be the first one I call when we release.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the retail, getting the ideas from retail. We see so much innovation over there, and in our past history, I think our industry is a little bit behind, but I think we're catching up rapidly, and drawing inspiration from what that space is doing is going to be really important to the future of our industry and the digital tools that we see.
Agreed. Yeah, training consumer behavior is not within our industry skill set, but adapting to what we know the consumer behavior it is and what they experience in their normal day-to-day lives when they're buying groceries, when they're picking up their kids, when they're going on vacation, that we can do. So
Yeah,
I think that's what you should expect to see from us moving forward.
really exciting. We'll have to do another interview once you get more into that stuff. Yes, awesome. Cool. So to wrap it up, what advice do you have for other promotional product companies that are going digital or thinking about going digital?
Don't delay. Don't, if you have any hesitation, throw it out the window. The longer you wait, the harder it will be for you to catch up. There's so much opportunity out there for you to provide a better experience to your clients by giving them more tools to go out and gain more revenue. There's
Mhm.
so much efficiency to be gained, not just for you as an internal organization, but for your client. Your client doesn't necessarily want to call you or text you at 9 p.m. at night because they need something, but they need it and they want it now, right? There's a reason why they didn't wait until 8 a.m. the next morning to give you a shout.
Yeah.
So don't lean into those things. Don't shy away from them. This is what I feel like we're going to start seeing more of. So
Mhm.
it's great for you to jump ahead, get involved, and learn from it. The best part about Zoom Studio is that distributors have already been leveraging this platform for quite some time.
Yeah.
So it's exciting when they see somebody new on the platform. There was no negative to it.
Yeah.
There was really just a, how many more templates do you plan on uploading? How often are you uploading lifestyles and things like that? It was just a new way for them to channel and market your products that they haven't done before. So don't hesitate, don't delay. You've got to lean in and jump all the way in.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and for anybody watching this, if you want to use the Zoom Studio that Goldbond has available, you can find it on their website. So check it out, send us your feedback. We're always evolving the tool based on user feedback. So if you have ideas on some cool features you'd like to see or things that would make it even more powerful, definitely contact us and we'll take it into consideration. All right, I think that's it. Is there anything else that you feel like we should touch on before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I'm just grateful
Okay.
for the opportunity. I appreciate you giving me the platform to showcase that we're out there and we're with Zoom Studio, and I'm excited to hear any feedback that our clients have on things that they'd like to see from us moving forward.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Brittany. We're excited to see where Gold Bond's headed, and we're excited to be part of that as well. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.